Welcome back to Everything Weapons channel. Today, we're running through 20 standout firearms tied to famous leaders used, owned, or closely associated with their image. We're talking modern figures, Middle Eastern power players, revolutionaries, World War era icons, and legendary generals. Alright, let's get into it. US President Donald Trump. He's widely associated with backing the Second Amendment. What most people don't know is he once personally owned handguns and even had a legal concealed carry permit in New York. In an interview, he said he kept a .45 Heckler & Koch pistol and a .38 Smith & Wesson revolver as his personal go-to protection. Then in 2023, he stirred headlines after stopping by a gun store in South Carolina and hinting he might buy a Glock, though his campaign later clarified he didn't actually purchase one. Vladimir Putin. Russia's president has built a full-on action hero image, often tied to weapons. He personally test-fired the SVCHA 308, a newer Kalashnikov sniper rifle on Russian TV. Reports said he hit 3 out of 5 targets at about 600 meters, controlling his breathing and squeezing the trigger like a professional marksman. An image state media praised heavily. He's also appeared multiple times with the legendary AK-47 at public events, to the point Western outlets have compared him to a Bond villain who loves showing off power. Kim Jong-un. North Korea's leader often shows up directing military activities, but he rarely holds a gun publicly himself. One shock moment, he reportedly gifted dozens of Pektosan pistols, engraved with his name to senior generals, marking the 67th anniversary of the end of the Korean War. Those Pektosan pistols, named after sacred Mount Pektu, were presented personally as a loyalty message. On the darker side, Kim is also tied to grim rumors, like executing officials with anti-aircraft guns. For example, in 2016, reports claimed 2 officials were publicly executed with 37mm anti-aircraft fire for threatening his leadership. Still, these claims largely come from South Korean intelligence sources and haven't been officially verified. Yasser Arafat. The Palestinian leader was almost always seen in military-style dress, with a handgun on his hip. In 1974, he stunned the room by arriving at the United Nations, with the holster still strapped to his belt. He famously declared, "Today I have come bearing an olive branch and a freedom fighter's gun," creating the enduring olive branch and gun image. Even though he had to leave the pistol off the podium before speaking, the fact that he showed up armed at the UN became a powerful symbol of the Palestinian struggle. That .32 caliber handgun, possibly a Tokarev or a Makarov, is now displayed at the Yasser Arafat Museum as part of his legacy. Saddam Hussein. Iraq's former strongman wasn't just associated with a gold-plated AK-47 displayed in his palaces. He's also tied to a very specific sidearm, a 9mm Glock 18C. That was the pistol Saddam had with him when the US forces captured him in 2003. When they pulled him out, the full auto Glock was right there in his hideout. And here's the twist, it wasn't loaded. US commandos presented it to President George W. Bush, who reportedly kept Saddam's Glock in a display case near the Oval Office and showed it to visitors, saying Delta Force took it off Saddam. Today, it's displayed at the George W. Bush Presidential Library as a symbol of Saddam's downfall. Muammar al-Gaddafi. Libya's leader had an extravagant style, and his weapons matched. Gaddafi was often seen carrying a gold-plated Browning high power, with grips engraved with his own portrait. That flashy pistol became infamous in 2011 when rebels captured him. One fighter raised Gaddafi's gold Browning in celebration, and the image spread worldwide. Beyond the gold pistol, Gaddafi's personal arsenal was also rumored to include a gold-plated Dragunov sniper rifle and multiple luxury custom AK variants. Osama bin Laden. The infamous terrorist leader appeared constantly in propaganda videos with an AK-47 beside him. The rifle basically became a signature prop in his Afghan hideouts. And then reality echoed the image. When SEAL team operators killed bin Laden in 2011, they reportedly found an AK-47 right next to his body. That rifle was seized and is said to be kept in the CIA's private museum in Langley, where national security trophies are stored. From propaganda footage to the final raid, bin Laden and the AK became a dark, modern symbol of terrorism. Joseph Stalin. The Soviet leader is known as cold and distant, and he rarely held a gun in public, but behind the scenes, he owned custom pistols with real historical weight. In 1949, for his 70th birthday, craftsmen from Tula presented him a brand new 9x18mm Makarov pistol, engraved with a dedication to Comrade I.V. Stalin on his 70th birthday from the Tula gunsmiths. This mattered even more because the USSR chose the Makarov as a standard service pistol that same year. Stalin likely never used that Makarov to shoot anyone. His killing was usually done with signatures, not triggers. But the gun remains a rare historical artifact. Earlier in his life, Stalin reportedly carried a small Browning pistol during underground revolutionary work, favoring compact pocket guns that were easy to conceal. Fidel Castro. Cuba's revolutionary leader loved firearms and often appeared with rifles while leading troops. But the most unusual story was a highly ornate, gold-plated pistol linked to his name, a Colt M1911, engraved and gold-finished by an American gunsmith named John Eck in the late 1950s. Because of events like the Bay of Pigs and the Cuban Missile Crisis, the gold pistol never actually reached Castro. The gunsmith kept it and later auctioned it in 2005 for over $10,000. Collectors have even rumored that this gold Castro gun helped inspire Scaramanga's golden gun in James Bond film. In real life, Castro is believed to have favored a Browning high-powered 9mm, a sidearm even when he was younger, and he's often associated with rifles like the FN FAL and the AK in combat settings. Che Guevara. The Argentine revolutionary icon is closely tied to the image of an M2 carbine in the field. Che especially favored the M2 carbine, a compact American-made select fire rifle, to the point that he carried one during guerrilla operations in Bolivia. The irony is brutal. When Che was captured by the Bolivian army in 1967, a Bolivian sergeant reportedly used an M2 carbine to execute him. He fired 2 bursts at close range, killing Che with the same type of weapon Che trusted. Beyond the M2, Che also been seen with the Luger P08 pistol, a German war trophy, and a cut-down improvised shotgun during his time in Congo. Che is a classic example of a guerrilla fighter who kept a close gun right up to the end.